tremendous, lethal, volatile, earth-shattering sports talk will commence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your folk. And it is a Top 5 Tuesday. Yes. Studio audience is on point. And we're ready to go, man. Thank you so much for joining your folk. I really do appreciate it. You can email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. And I know I said this yesterday, but today I really do mean it. There's a lot to get into. Yes. And you know, Top 5 Tuesday is probably my favorite show of the week. I mean, it's great. And I got a great Top 5 today. Yes. So stay tuned for that. Have you told 5 people about the show? Seriously, have you? Tell 5 people about the livest, most interactive, most fun show in America, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes. We are doing big things around here. And before I even go any further, man, once again, man, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, past and present. Thank you so much for what you do. Yes. I'm not as good of a man as you are. I know that much. So thank you so much for what you do, man, and have a happy Veterans Day. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338, 404-382-0338. In a second, I'll tell you what the top 5 is, and we'll discuss that. But obviously, we got to start off talking about this Monday night game last night between the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles blow doors. They blow the doors off the Carolina Panthers, and I don't know why I didn't see this coming. I guess I'm still in the mind frame of the Carolina Panther team that we saw last year with a tough defense. I don't know what happened to that defense. They're gone. You know, evidently Greg Hardy not being a part of that unit has totally crippled them. Yes, so last night the Carolina Panthers, man, get destroyed 45-21. And what's wrong with the Panthers? And there's a lot of ways you can look at this thing, I guess, because this is one of the teams that we had thought had taken their game to the next level last season. This year, it's not the case. 3-6 on the year now, get destroyed 45-21. A couple of issues with this team. First of all, let me go ahead and give credit to the Philadelphia Eagles and to Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez looks like he's born again. Yeah, looks like he can play this game a little bit now, you know, minus the butt fumble talk. And Mark Sanchez played great last night. 332 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, no INTs. Very efficient, 20 for 37. And the big thing about Mark Sanchez and the way that he played last night, to me, was that he was sharp. Yes, he looked sharp. The passes he threw, he looked very crisp. He looked like he knew where he was going with the ball. Very, very forthright in where he threw the ball and his confidence that the ball would get to said target. Yes. So Mark Sanchez looked fantastic last night. And I don't know if it's because he has talent and now he's around a system that caters to him more so than what it did with the New York Jets, or whether it's all because of Chip Kelly. I don't know. And time will tell. Will he regress? Will teams get a book on him? Time will tell. But I think from what I saw last night, and based on his success early on with the New York Jets, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I mean, you got to feel real confident in this guy. Like, I almost, after one game, in one half of a game before, in which he played last week, I almost say to myself, I feel more confident in Mark Sanchez than I do in Foles and Nick Foles. And I don't know whether it's because of the pedigree and the fact that he came from one of these schools that has better quarterback play historically, or, you know, Nick Foles really came onto the scene and nobody expected the success that he had. I don't know whether it is, but Mark Sanchez last night looked like a quarterback that could play in the NFL for a long time. And I guess a lot of it's got to do with the system once again, but he played fantastic last night. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because, damn it, it's only one game. But Mark Sanchez looked good as hell last night. And on the flip side, Cam Newton. Cam freaking Newton. Now, the guy was sacked 9 times. The offensive line is putrid. I think the play calling is horrible. The offensive wide receivers for the Carolina Panthers looked horrible. Kelvin Benjamin, he stopped on a couple of routes, which caused, in particular, the first interception on the slant pattern. So he's young, I get that, but he's a big target, and he's playing damn well for the most part. But last night, he stopped on a couple of routes that really made Cam look bad. Having said that, all the problems I think the Carolina Panthers have, I can't take all the blame and place it on the team and all the surrounding parts. I got to give a lot of the blame to Cam Newton as well. And the number one reason why I'm giving the blame to Cam Newton is not because his mechanics are horrible, which they are. And I've said that before. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. His mechanics are just horrible. Like, he just feels like that he's so gifted. In my mind, he feels like he's so gifted and he's so athletically superior to most dudes, especially guys that play that quarterback position, that he can just do anything the hell he wants. You know, throw it off his back leg, sidearm. I mean, just not a full release, not following through. I don't know what it is, but his mechanics are horrible. But even more so than that, that's worse, and that's bad about Cam Newton. And once again, let me just set the record straight. Let me preface this by saying this. If you listen to the Doug Stewart Show, we had a show, maybe it was the top 5, and we talked about the top 5 young quarterbacks in the NFL a couple of weeks ago. And I'm on record, and I've said it even before that out of these young guys, you talk about Andrew Luck and Colin Kaepernick and who else? Russell Wilson and all of these guys, that I would take Cam Newton because I believe that his upside is so much more. Athletically, he's better than everybody else. He's proven to be a winner. But looking at the game last night and the last couple of weeks, the bad thing about Cam Newton, and I hope it doesn't affect him for the term of his career, his body language is just horrible. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. His body language is that of somebody that's sulking like a 7-year-old kid. Yes, it's like a 7-year-old kid that was told, to put the candy up, and he didn't put it up, so the teacher took it, and the kid sulks for the rest of the class. Mad. Like, his body language is just all wrong. Like, when you're down and you're getting sacked, and I know it's tough because, they're beating you down like a drum. I get that. The offensive line is like a sieve. I get all of that. I get it. But as a leader, and quarterback and leader are synonymous. As a leader, even when the times are tough, you have to put on a good face. That's what quarterbacks do. That's what they do. And that's not what I've seen out of Cam over the last couple of weeks, man. I mean, his body language, his facial expressions are, of a child. Of a child. And once again, I'm a fan, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm a fan. I'm on record. I'm a fan of the guy. But his body language and his leadership face is horrible. His leadership face absolutely sucks. It does. And I don't know if you could follow behind a guy that looks like that, looks like the world's coming to an end. As many times as he gets sacked, he's supposed to jump up. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. It's okay. That's okay. Let's get back into it. Let's get our heads right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And call the play with some conviction on your face. That's not what I see from that young man. That's not what I see from that young man. And it's very distressing because the Carolina Panthers and the league feel like that this guy is one of the faces of said league and team. And the fact that it's just bad. It's bad. I've been around a lot of football in my day, and leaders are guys that no matter how bad it looks, you're always looking at it in a positive light. We can turn this thing around, okay? Glass is half full, not glass is half empty, and that's not what I'm seeing out of Cam. He's got to fix that real quick. And, Obviously, he's the franchise quarterback, and I don't think Carolina's to a point where they say, we're going to have to go in a different direction. No, there's too much talent to say that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, unless he changes his persona and the way he goes about being behind and down in the game and taking on a leadership mantle, wow. There's going to be a lot lost in his career. And I talked about Vic yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I talked about Vic yesterday and all the potential that he had. All right? This situation right now is something that he can address. This is something that dude can fix. Somebody please get word to him. I know we're in Atlanta. And people are listening that may be cool with Cam Newton. Somebody get word to that young man. And if we could get him on the show, I would. And I'd tell him this personally. Just like I told Dwight Howard, he needs to stop acting like a wuss and get his offensive game together. I would tell Cam, dude, you got to act. It's almost like fake it till you make it. You ever heard that? Damn it. We know you ain't happy. We know you getting beat down like a drum. But damn it, you got to put on a good face. You got to put on a good face, man. Oh, my gosh, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. And once again, I know he's getting beat up. But that's not going to change by you sulking. It's not. It's not, Cam. Damn it. I want to see this man succeed. And there's so many people out there that don't want to see him succeed. That's why I'm so boisterous about this. Because I know there's haters out there and don't like his attitude. And I get it now. I get it. His attitude stinks. It absolutely stinks. All right, if you've been watching the Puppet Factory, they've been promoting this 30 for 30 on Randy Moss, Rand University. I'm just geeked up about it. And maybe geeked is an old school term that makes me sound old, but I'm geeked up to see it tonight because I'm a huge Randy Moss fan. I think he's one of the greatest athletes that I've ever seen, okay, of all times. So today's top 5, your top 5 freak athletes. I'm going to give you my list as well. What are your thoughts? Top 5 freak athletes of all times. That's Randy Moss's nickname, the Freak. So that's what we'll do today, all right? Don't go away. Damn it. Top 5 Tuesday. Got me in here, blood pressure up. Doug Stewart Show. Business owners. Advertise Unlimited is one of the few national flyer and door hanger distribution companies that service every market in the U.S., promoting your grand opening or special event, as well as creating brand recognition amongst the public. Here's what they do. They deliver your printed ad or promotion to the front door of your targeted customer. The beauty is they outperform direct mail advertising, and your ad doesn't get lost in the mailbox. Now, isn't that what really matters? Boom! The most professional, reliable distribution teams in the business, and they also provide real-time proof of performance for all campaigns. An A rating with the Better Business Bureau, and were voted one of the fastest-growing companies in the U.S. by Inc. magazine. Advertise Unlimited has the capability to print and distribute up to 20,000 flyers or more for less than the price of a stamp. Use the promo code DSS and get an extra 10% discount on your initial campaign. So, give them a call at 1-866-369-9003. Again, that's 1-866-369-9003, or check out their website at goadvertiseunlimited.com and make your advertising dollars count. Yes! You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much, much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running. But just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America?
By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your boat. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Yes!
It's a radio uprising in here. The Doug Stewart Show.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Top 5 Tuesday, and all right, I'm calmed down. Just had a little tirade about Cam Newton because it really bothers me, man. It really bothers me. I hate to see untapped potential, and right now, dude's attitude, man, I think is absolutely killing him. I think subconsciously is probably killing the team as well. And once again, and I'm reading these messages on chat, on Spreaker chat, but you can jump in on that, Spreaker chat, on Spreaker.com. And people are saying, you know, Doug, I mean, you can only be and act so jolly when you keep getting hit in the mouth. And I get that, 100% I get that. But golly, man, watch the game. Watch his facial expressions. Watch his body language when he gets up off the ground. I mean, you a leader, dude. You know, I mean, you're supposed to be the leader. I mean, you getting paid like the leader. You're looked upon as you're the leader. So it's very disappointing, man. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. This segment is brought to you by Advertise Unlimited. It's one of the few national flyer and door hanger distribution companies that service every market in the U.S. That's right. So if you're a company out there and you're looking to try the newest form of door-to-door marketing, check them out. Give them a call at 866-369-9003, or you can go to goadvertiseunlimited.com. They can hit over 20,000 houses. So check them out. Goadvertiseunlimited.com is where you can find them at. And get your brand, your name out there. Speaking of brand and name, if you're a company out there that like to work with the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to work with you. Email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com, and let's do some business, man. We're doing big things around here. We'd love to work with you and help promote your product. If you think it's a good fit with sports and guys and Metro Atlanta, I mean, this is what we do around here, all right? So holler at me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com, and we'll have a salesperson get in contact with you and, do some business. So in the first segment, we talked obviously about what happened last night on Monday Night Football. I want to once again give credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. They looking pretty damn good. They're looking like a team. If they can get quarterback play from Mark Sanchez like that, I mean, they could be a team that goes to the Super Bowl. They could be. If all things are relative and, good injuries, the way they got after the quarterback last night, and I know we're saying that the Carolina Panthers offensive line is struggling. That's an understatement. But 9 sacks, and I mean, very aggressive defensive front and linebackers. So, they got something out there they're working with. Chip Kelly's obviously crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So they're going to be a team that's going to be in contention late in the season. We're talking today about top 5 freak athletes. And my top 5 freak athletes, I'm going to give them all day long today on today's show. And all this was spurred by the conversation about tonight on ESPN, the 30 for 30 on Randy Moss, Rand University. And if you've listened to me over the years, I've always said it, that Randy Moss is the best wide receiver I've ever seen in my life. And I get a lot of criticism from that. People say, how the hell could you say something like that? Randy Moss is a quitter. His body language and his facial expressions aren't great. He's not a leader. Jerry Rice is all-time greatest wide receiver. I love Jerry Rice, but if I'm on a playground, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if I'm on a playground and I see Randy Moss right there at the height of his career, pretty much when he was a rookie in the NFL. I see Randy Moss right there at the height of his career, and I see Jerry Rice right there in the height of his career, and I have the opportunity to choose one. I am choosing Randy Moss. Damn what you say. Damn what you say. Whatever, that's fine. And Jerry Rice, wait a minute. I'm not saying Jerry Rice isn't a great receiver. He's fantastic. But all things relative, and I've said that twice today, all things relative, you can't teach what God gave Randy Moss. Okay, Jerry Rice is one of those those guys that would outwork you, and he took his talent to another level. But Jerry Rice don't run 4.1 in the 40. I'm sorry. Jerry Rice ain't 6'4", okay? Jerry Rice don't beat triple teams like Randy Moss did consistently, okay, in his NFL career. I'm sorry. So, I mean, just all the athletic ability in the world now. Would you like for him to be a harder worker? Yes, you would. Of course you would. But guess what? Sometimes God just makes people better than everybody else. Yes. It's almost like people hate against Randy Moss because he doesn't work even harder. You know? Well, maybe he should, and that would be a good thing. But damn it, him just on God-given ability is better than everybody else. Why you mad, bro? Why you mad, bro? So, my top 5, all right, freak athletes of all times, I'm going to start it out at number 5 with Randy Moss. Yes. Now, for the fact that I put Randy Moss at number 5 will tell you that there's a lot of other big names out here, and really this thing is all speculative. I could really turn this thing around many types of ways, but based on the list I have, Randy Moss falls into the number 5 slot for most freak athletes of all times. Randy Moss's dream was to play at Notre Dame, but he'd also considered going to Ohio State, where his half-brother Eric had played offensive tackle. Former Notre Dame head coach Lou Holtz, listen to this, and I'm reading straight off of Randy Moss's Wikipedia page, all right? Lou Holtz, the former coach of Notre Dame, said Randy Moss was the best high school football player he'd ever seen. Huh? You know how many high school football players Lou Holtz has seen? Think about that. Lou Holtz had pretty much seen every high school football player of note for the last 60 years. That's all you need to know about Randy Moss. The man said he's the best high school athlete that he'd ever seen, high school football player that he'd ever seen. That's saying a lot. Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden said he was as good as oh my gosh, listen to this. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden, another dude who's probably seen, athletes, the best football players for the last 60, 70 years. Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden said he was as good as Deion Sanders. Deion's my measuring stick for athletic ability, and this kid was just a bigger Deion. What? Just as good an athlete as Deion Sanders, but bigger. Come on, man. I mean, you talking about, yeah, and I know I'm going to get hate email, Doug, because there's a lot of people listen to this show that may be from another state, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And, excuse me, from another state, and maybe they weren't privy to listen to Two Live Stews, and so they never heard this take before. Right now, there are people listening to me that are offended, that I said Randy Moss is a better wide receiver than Jerry Rice. But damn it, that's my prerogative. It is. And I see people right now giving me their list, and you can pretty much guess who the guys are on my top 5 list. Maybe not the order, but you can pretty much guess who the guys we're talking about as the top 5 freaks of all time, athletic-wise. So we'll talk about that all throughout today's show on the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. Think about that now. I mean, what else do I need to say? Bobby Bowden, okay, and Lou Holtz, who have seen damn near every high-profile 5-star high school kid coming out for the last 60 years, summed it all down to say Randy Moss is the best wide receiver or the best football player that they'd ever seen. Yes. And greenhorns that have never seen this guy play, or you were too young at the height of his career, maybe a young kid, 10 years old or a little bit younger because he's not played for the last couple of years. Watch this thing tonight, the 30 for 30 on Randy Moss. I mean, dude was incredible. From Kevin on the chat line, he says, can't remember, or Cam reminds me of those kids who used to get mad and take their ball and go home. Yes, he does. And as a matter of fact, I actually took my ball and went home. Maybe I'll tell that story a little bit later. But yes, my attitude's never been that bad. I had a bad attitude for a certain situation. I'll tell you the story later. You're not just going to pit me for my ball. and exploit me because I'm a kid. I'll tell that story later. Please remind me to tell that story a little bit later. From Fred Mack, in Cam's defense, hard to lead a bunch of suckers. Ask Mark Sanchez. Laugh out loud, okay. From Patro, say it, Doug. Say it, bitch. I guess he's talking about Cam. I'm not going to call him a bitch, but it looked bad last night. From King 50, Doug, you can only get hit in the mouth so many times before you start frowning. From Savalas, thanks, Doug. I forgot to set the DVR for that 30 for 30 tonight. About to do that right now. Yeah. So tonight on ESPN, the 30 for 30, on the Puppet Factory on Randy Moss. Can't wait to see that. If you haven't heard and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Carson Palmer, done for the year. Done for the year, and I don't know what more you can even say about that. It's very ironic, and it's very bad as far as luck for the Arizona Cardinals. This guy signs a deal, I think they said 2 days before he gets hurt, and now he's done for the year. A $50 million contract, $20 million guaranteed. The same exact thing happened when he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. He had signed a deal 10 days earlier and tore up his knee playing for the Bengals in the playoffs. So, been there, done that. Been there, done that. And there's a lot of emotions that go through your mind, especially a quarterback and a guy that's played as long as him. And at this point in their career, your whole life, your sports, football life flashes in front of your eyes. And I tore my ACL my sophomore year in college. And right then, everything started flashing in my mind about, playing this game from the age of 7, all the two-a-days and all the turmoil and everything that goes in it and all the love and the passion. And to think that you might be done, it hurts. It hurts. Yes, it definitely hurts. So prayers go out to Carson Palmer, man. Hopefully he can get well. Never been that big of a fan. Definitely when he went to the Raiders and he stunk it up. Definitely was a fan then, but I can relate to somebody getting injured, man. That knee, man, it's just crucial. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we'll grab some of your phone calls, read more of your chat, continue to talk about the top 5 freak athletes of all times, and that's how we'll do it on a Top 5 Tuesday. Don't go away. Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Got an injured player? No problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000. And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code Spreaker to play for free. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that's DraftKings.com.
What is 9/11 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 9/11 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on the link on my website and let 9/11 Tax Relief help you in your situation with your uncle, better yet known as Uncle Sam. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com, and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty, People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes!
If you're not stewing, what in the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your folk. Yes! You can email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. You can also give me a call at 404-382-0338. Just hanging out on a Tuesday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Shouts out once again to all of the veterans out there, man, for Veterans Day, past and present. And this is a Top 5 Tuesday, and we're talking about the top 5 freak athletes of all times. And I looked at this chat, and somebody's got my list, my order, perfectly. Yeah, and it's not hard. It's really not hard if you think about sports. And there's a couple of guys that I can tell you right now that I didn't include in my list that I'm sure some old school cats would definitely say should be on my list of top 5 sports freaks of all time. One in particular, the great Jim Brown. Jim Brown did not make my list, obviously, because I really don't have a memory of Jim Brown. But you ask an old school cat about Jim Brown, they'll swear to you up and down that Jim Brown would rush for 240 yards and fight a bear afterwards. Yeah, that he was that talented, an All-American lacrosse player. And also Wilt Chamberlain didn't make my list as well. And the reason why is, once again, is because I don't have any memories of seeing the great Wilt Chamberlain. But if you read the stats are just absurd. And the guy was like an All-American in track and field, running the hurdles, high jump. I mean, he did it all. But I don't have a recollection of him. So I got to talk about guys pretty much in the last 30 years. So I'm 45 right now. I think where I was at a point where I was cognizant of the sports that I was watching and some of the feats that some of the players, some of the athletes were doing. I probably put at about 8 or 9 years old. So we're talking about 35 years of where I really understood what I was watching in sports. So Wilt Chamberlain didn't make my list, as well as the great Jim Brown didn't make my list. But man, yeah, and there was so many. I got an actual an honorable mention as well that I do with my top 5 list. I've already talked about Randy Moss being my 5th freak athlete of all time, and all of this conversation is in honor of Randy Moss having a special tonight on the Puppet Factory where they're talking about his career and his life. I'm looking real forward to that. So we're talking about freaks. Randy Moss is always considered a freak of nature. You remember in 98? And if you're listening to the show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you're listening to this show, you clearly remember in 98, I believe it was Thanksgiving Day, Randy Moss as a rookie against the Dallas Cowboys, took like a little, I don't know, it almost looked like, and from my memory, it was like a bubble screen. Or maybe a little, 5-yard comeback or something like that. And the defensive back had played off him and tried to come up and make the tackle, and he missed. And it was like 3 or 4 guys that had an angle on Randy Moss, and they couldn't catch him. They couldn't catch him because usually, and I think something else that was interesting about Randy Moss is, and I keep saying was interesting. If you've been paying attention over the last couple of days, there's rumors, word has come out that after the Seattle Seahawks got rid of Percy Harvin, that they made a call to Randy Moss. Now I think this is Randy Moss's second year out of the league. I don't know what more he could give you. It seems like his skills were diminishing when he last played in the game. But yeah, said Pete Carroll gave dude a call to come and play for the Seahawks. And he declined them. Now, I don't know how much of it is true or not. But the thing, going back to my point, the thing about Randy Moss that was interesting is Randy Moss looks like physically a basketball player. Okay? He looks like a basketball player. He looks like a small forward. Skinny as hell, tall, but man, tough as leather. I never remember Randy Moss, taking a big shot and having to miss time because he was so slight. Kind of like, you remember, what was his name? Carter. He played wide receiver for the Michigan Wolverines back in the day. Anthony Carter. Yeah, you remember Anthony Carter was so skinny? Randy Moss was Anthony Carter with better ball skills and even taller. Just skinny as hell, but yeah, he'll catch a little comeback and take it to the house. So that's what we're talking about today. Freak athletes on the Doug Stewart Show on this Top 5 Tuesday. My number 4 guy is, I'll save that. I'll talk about my number 4 guy in the next segment. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Minnesota Viking running back Adrian Peterson is prepared to fight the NFL, and if it becomes necessary, sue the league. Yes, as they continue to hold him out. And people, it's kind of some question on whether or what the deal was that they agreed upon between him and the NFL. Now, there was an agreement between Peterson and the NFL, which was based on explicit language that it would reinstate the running back once his legal case was resolved. This is what the NFLPA is saying. Last week, he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge related to disciplining his 4-year-old kid. You know about that. And since that was a plea deal, the NFL has not moved to reinstate Peterson and has not given a timetable for when it will resolve the issue. So it's all about what the writing says in this deal that they had. Now, he was on the commissioner's list as far as being suspended, some type of thing they made up for all of these guys that have been getting in trouble over the last couple of months. And so he was on this suspended commissioner's list, exempt list. And so it's kind of unclear. How about this word? Ambiguous. It's kind of ambiguous about exactly what they agreed upon and what happened, this, that, and the other. And right now what you're seeing is the NFLPA is coming in with the gloves off. I mean, and you have to do this. You have to protect your players' best interest. That's what you're there for. So DeMaurice Smith, you got to handle this. He's got to handle this. And I don't get all the details on why, when this thing came to a conclusion. And once again, there's writing in the deal that they disagree upon and what it means. But the guy's case is over. It's over. Reinstate him. Reinstate him. Whether you disagree with everything that went down and you feel like he's a child abuser, this, that, and the other, the case is over. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. Go ahead and reinstate that guy. Let that guy get back on the football field, man, and play football and earn a living. And all what all this is involved with or dealing with. It's all dealing with the fact that the NFL really, in most people's minds, jumped the gun concerning the whole Ray Rice situation. So all it says to me is they're trying to be extra, extra careful, and I get that. But it is what it is, and right is right. Go ahead and let this man get back on the field and play football. And I'm, for one, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I, for one, didn't think he was going to play football this year. Okay? I thought this thing would be dragged out, but the way lawyers work and the little tricks that they use, Adrian Peterson's team was able to push this thing along, and they got some type of resolution to it. And I think maybe the NFL didn't think it would happen this fast. It was like, wait a minute, slow down, Playboy, slow down. Yeah, you're good already? Your case is already over? Well, damn. Now what do? We got to figure this out. They don't want to act hastily because of what happened with Ray Rice. I get that, but it is what it is. You guys made a deal. Y'all made a deal. Let this man come back and play football. 404-382-0338. Once again, 404-382-0338. This is the Doug Stewart Show, and coming to you live from the ATL Monday through Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're talking about top 5 freak athletes of all times. There's a lot of them out there that you could talk about. I even looked at Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers is a guy with 6'6", 270 pounds, could dunk a basketball with 2 hands. He did not make my list, but he's one of the guys that I have on my honorable mention list. And once again, this thing is all speculative. It's all, what you fancy as opposed to some real fact. This is like barbershop talk in its truest form. So Julius Peppers is a guy that had done it for a long, long time. I almost think, though, that Julius Peppers' career wasn't fulfilled to the degree that a lot of people thought he was coming out of college, out of North Carolina. I really don't think so. He's had a fantastic career, but I think people automatically expected, based on his measurables and what he did at the combine, and, he had like a ridiculous 40 or vertical jump, 40-something inches reportedly, that people thought Julius Peppers was going to take like maybe what Reggie White did to the next level. And not so much. Had some great years, but not so much. But definitely in the conversation for all-time freak athletes of all times. Definitely in the conversation. Let me read some of this chat from Petro Spiva. He says, Bo ran a 4.1. He's talking about Bo Jackson, and played baseball and football. All starred in both. Yes, Bo Jackson was a great choice, or a fantastic freak athlete. He might make my list. We'll see. From Matt, he says Vince Carter was a freak. Yes, maybe the greatest dunk in basketball history. And I'm talking about the dunk where he dunked on the opponent in the Olympics, and he basically jumped over the guy. Yes, he jumped over a guy. And the guy wasn't short. It wasn't like Muggsy Bogues. The guy was like 6'2" or something like that, and Vince Carter jumped over him. Yes, unbelievable athlete in Vince Carter, but he too did not make my list. All right, from Savalas. He says, I agree, Doug, that Randy was more of a freak athlete than Jerry, but the greatest cover corner in history said that Jerry was Jesus in cleats. I got to go with Jerry as a better wide receiver. And if you're just joining me, I took Randy Moss at number 5 in my list. And I've said many a times that I would take him. If I had my choice between him and Jerry Rice, I'd take Randy Moss. So my man Savalas disagrees. From Petro Spiva, he says Ernest Gibbons was a freak. Okay, I see where you went with that. And I should proofread these things a little bit more. From Fred Mack, he says Javon Curse, his nickname was Freak. Yes, Javon Curse was actually the first freak that I remember. Did Javon Curse start his NFL career before Randy Moss? Or which one? That's easy to find out. My staff will find out. But those guys, to me, it seems like those guys probably came into the NFL about the same time. Javon Curse was called Freak, I think, when he was in college at the University of Florida. And I think Randy Moss, they were calling Randy Moss Freak too when he came out of high school. So we'll find out the exact dates of when they both entered the league. But yeah, both of them get that Freak title. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, some news and notes in the world of the NFL. Shouts out to the Hawks. They get a big win last night. I'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll take your calls. Top 5 Tuesday. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Texas Pete Hot Sauce. It's the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Stay right there.
This your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-file, prescription savings, and a fully encompassed prepaid legal benefit that includes identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedugstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on thedugstewartshow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor, Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Yes!
His realness on radio has been banned across America, except for Dodge City, Kansas. The Doug Stewart Show.
Thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. Welcome back. This is a Top 5 Tuesday. Yes. And you can email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. You can give me a call at 404-382-0338. That's the number to the show. And we're talking about the top 5 freak athletes of all times. Also talking a little bit about the Monday night game last night. Who's your top 5 freak athletes of all time? So give me a name to put into the list. I've already talked about a couple of guys, or I actually only have one guy I've already put out there. I'll tell you number 4 on my list here in a second. But this segment is brought to you by DraftKings. That's right. Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. So go to my website, click on their banner link, and sign up for an account. I meant to do that. I got to give the winner of the Stews, or the Doug Stewart Show, fantasy football league, one-week league that we had last week. So I'll do that today. But make sure you go and create a DraftKings account, and we'll do another league this week. We'll do games from this coming Sunday in the NFL and have a lot of fun with that. So, man, get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend. Free entry. You can't beat that. Where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code Spreaker. That's Spreaker, like you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show right now on Spreaker. Just enter that promo code and you are good to go. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. And, man, my number 4 guy, and in a second we're going to talk a little bit of basketball, the Hawks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. My number 4 guy on my list for top 5 freak athletes of all times is a guy that I've had a lot of issue with over the years, but I've come full circle, and I keep it real, and that's what I do, is I keep it real. The number 4 guy on my list, man, is LeBron James. Yes. 6'8", 250 pounds. So LeBron James is basically the size of modern-day defensive ends, bigger than outside linebackers in the NFL. And if you watch his game, the guy pretty much on a break gets up and down the court just as fast as 95% of the point guards in the NBA. Okay? They got him clocked at a 4.440. You know about his athletic ability, his jumping ability, his skill set. And I don't know how you quantify that in comparison to being a freak athlete. But if you watch LeBron James play basketball, he's a freak. He's probably the best athlete, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And I can't think of anybody else. Maybe a Sean Kemp, but athletically and the fluidity of his motions and the way he moves, Sean Kemp isn't the athlete that LeBron James is. I'm trying to think of athletes that played, or basketball players all times athletically. And I don't think there's anybody more athletic than LeBron James. And that's saying a lot, because I think overall, as a group, I think basketball players, NBA players, are more athletic as a group than all the other sports. I think they're more athletic than football players. If you're talking about small forwards and 2 guards and point guards, I mean, these dudes are athletes, jump out of the gym, can run all day long. I think if you put them on a scale, athletic scale, I would say basketball players on a whole are more athletic than NFL players. Because, listen, if you're talking about the bulk of NFL players, you got a lot of bulky, fat guys on the offensive and defensive lines. In basketball, even most of the centers. I mean, once in a while, you get a Kevin Duckworth type that's just clunky, or Manute Bowl is just clunky. But for the most part, even the centers, they run and they jump well. They do. And so, yeah, LeBron James is the best basketball athlete that I've ever seen. Maybe somebody can give me or remind me about somebody that athletically was just as gifted or better than LeBron James. I can't think of anybody right now. So LeBron James is number 4 on my list of freak athletes of all times. Also, shouts out to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, the New York Knicks. The Knicks are the Hawks bitches. 91-85 last night, man. Shouts out to the Hawks. They beat them twice in the home and home. And, yeah, that's a good win. Right now, the Hawks are 3-3 on the year, doing fantastic. And I want to give a special shouts out. And if this was a Monday, I'd give the guy a baller award. But I want to give a special shouts out to this kid, Dennis Schroeder, man. Wow. This might be one of the best picks that the Hawks have had since I've been in Atlanta. And I mentioned it yesterday. This is my 20-year anniversary, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is my 20-year anniversary in Atlanta. And I've seen just about every draft, pretty much every single year that the Hawks have had. This kid might be a keeper. This Dennis Schroeder kid, man, comes in, gets 14 points, and looks very good. And this is a continuation from the other night where he played well, as very good as well. The first round pick of the Hawks last year. So this is the second year, and he's doing good. And Coach Bud looks like he knows how to bring him in. And now you might have some conversation and some controversy brewing up with the Hawks and Jeff Teague, because when Schroeder was in the game late last night, Teague was on the bench. And Teague is your guy. Teague is pretty much one of your franchise guys. You gave him a franchise-type deal. And so I don't know. So this Schroeder kid, man, or Schroeder, or however the hell he says his name, is from Germany. He looks good. He looks like a keeper. And also last night in the NBA, speaking of LeBron James, they get a win over the Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans, 118-111. And LeBron James goes for a triple-double, 32, 12, and 10. And they're starting to figure it out offensively. The question now is going to be defensively. And if you heard the conversation by the head coach last night of the Cleveland Cavaliers, he talked about the fact that defensively, man, we got to get this thing together. Coach Blatt. And defensively, they're not playing fantastic, but offensively, very early in this season, it looks like things are turning around. And, I'm one of the guys that said, it would. There's nothing to worry about. Don't think that these guys, they got too many good players, too many smart players with Irving and Love and LeBron. They'll figure that out. But defensively, that's kind of what was the hallmark for the Miami Heat when LeBron was down in Miami, is that not only did they have great offensive players, but they played stifling defense as well. So we'll see if they can get that in Cleveland. That's never really been. Kevin Love is a defensive player, a good defensive player on the aspect of getting rebounds and even occasionally giving you some block shots. But defensively has always been kind of a question mark surrounding him. Kyrie Irving has never really had to put emphasis on defense because he's too busy damn scoring. And I think that was his understood role, and it has been his understood role throughout his basketball career. So that's going to be probably LeBron's biggest challenge, is to get these guys to play great defense. But right now, they're back at 500. And you think that the Cleveland Cavaliers aren't going to be a team to be reckoned with this year? You are crazy. 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338. From Matt, he says the Hawks need to keep both Jeff and Dennis. I'm not saying they're going to get rid of Jeff Teague, but I hope it's not a situation where they're trying to figure out minutes to give to the Schroeder kid. And I don't think you can play both of these guys. They're so small. I don't think you can play both of them, Schroeder and Teague, on the same floor. So that might be a storyline going throughout the season, because they're going to have to play this Schroeder kid more minutes. From Patro, correction to Doug, Dennis Rodman is the biggest freak in basketball. And I know this Patro guy. This guy's like a Facebook comedian. And so whenever I see something on it from Patro, I got to read it more. Yeah, I feel you, Dennis Rodman. Yeah. All right. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. From Roderick Pinson on the chat line. He says, Wes Unseld. Is he saying Wes Unseld was the best athlete? Vaguely remember Wes Unseld. He played in the early 70s where I guess I was a little kid and starting to watch basketball. I don't remember Wes Unseld being a great athlete. For a big guy, I guess he was a... Oh, I know what he's referring to. I mentioned clunky guys in the NBA. Some of them are centers. And I mentioned Manute Bol and Kevin Duckworth. And I guess he's putting Wes Unseld in that category as well with big guys in the NBA that don't move very well. But yeah, my number 5 guy is Randy Moss as far as freak athletes. And number 4 on my list is LeBron James. Just a freak athlete. Speed, size, agility, good feet. Like, yes, that dude is a freak athlete. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we'll talk more about Monday Night Football, Mark Sanchez doing his thing, the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, not so much. If you're just joining me, man, I had a little tirade in the first segment, all concerning Cam Newton, man. I just don't like his demeanor, man, in these games. You got to do something about that. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on the DougStewartShow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Yes!
It is hour number 2. Thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Don't let me forget, producers, and I'm looking at my producers outside the glass. Don't let me forget to tell my little story about me taking my ball home. Damn it. Yes, I did at one point in my life take my ball home. Yes. We were talking earlier about someone said on the chat line, Cam Newton's expression last night was one of those kids that gets mad and takes his ball and goes home. I got a similar story, but you'll understand when I tell you. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. And you can email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com if you're a company out there and would like to push your brand, your company, your product with us. We love to do that with you as well. We love to partner with you. So email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And we're talking about top 5 freak athletes of all times in honor of Randy Moss's 30 for 30 special tonight. As a matter of fact, you can see that preview on my Facebook page. Yes. So my Facebook page, and I believe it may even be on my Twitter page as well. So you can check out the preview to that. It's it's on my Facebook page, exactly. So check that out. Randy Moss tonight, Rand University. There's always a story behind guys like this, and you know Randy Moss's story. Got into trouble, got into a fight in high school, actually finished high school at an alternative school, got kicked out. Was supposed to go to Florida State, allegedly went on his recruiting trip and got caught smoking some weed, something to that effect, something crazy. And so he ended up having to play, college football at Marshall. And clearly his talent was above the division that Marshall played football back in 1986 and 87. And that's right. I asked a question a little bit earlier, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The question that came up, who was the first freak? And was it Randy Moss or was it Javon Curse? Randy Moss actually came into the NFL in 1998, and Javon Curse came a year later. I knew it was very close, but I think maybe they were calling Javon Curse freak in college. And maybe that name wasn't thrown out at Randy Moss until maybe he got in the NFL. I'm not sure. But both of those guys were freaks. But, yeah, Randy Moss, so he ends up playing at Marshall. And, man, one of the most famous clips ever is dude like hurling somebody in a game when he was at Marshall. And just phenomenal. Just phenomenal, man. And so we're talking about freaks and top 5 freaks of all times. My number 5 guy is Randy Moss. My number 4 guy is LeBron James. And my number 3 guy is, wow, and I almost feel dirty not putting all of these guys at number 1. And in particular, this guy, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. My number 3 guy, as far as freak athletes of all times, or at least the last 35 years, is none other than the great Herschel Walker. Yes. Wow. I mean, the guy claims to have never lifted a weight in his life. Did you hear me? The man claimed to have never, been on a weight bench, squats, nothing. All he does is like push-ups and sit-ups. In high school, he won the state in the shot put, the 100-yard dash, and the 200-yard dash. He also ran the 100 meters in 10.22, which is not far off from Olympic numbers, and he also ran the 100 yards in 9.3. 6'1", 225 pounds, and my gosh, you talk about making a splash on the scene in college football. Like, there may not have been any other rookie or freshman that I can think of, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, that made such an impact so early in their career than Herschel Walker. Phenomenal. At 48 years of age, he decided to pursue a career in MMA and whoop 2 dudes' ass. What? Are you kidding me? This Herschel Walker guy, man, you talk about the epitome of being a freak. It's Herschel Walker. So he comes in at number 3 on my list, and there's 2 guys ahead of him. So you know these guys are probably almost like aliens. And damn near they are. So my number 5 guy is Randy Moss. Number 4 is LeBron James. Number 3 is Herschel Walker. And so I'll tell you who my number 2 and 1 guy are as far as freaks in sports at some point in today's show. And I also been throwing out a couple of honorable mentions. And one honorable mention, and I wanted to try to figure a way to put him on the list, but I couldn't because just the guys ahead of him are just that incredible. But I tried my best to find a way to put on Mike Tyson. And we talked about Mike Tyson a week ago for another top 5 maybe, or a couple of weeks ago. And Tyson was a boxer, a phenomenal boxer. But I just couldn't put him athletically. I don't know how fast he ran to 40. I just know he beat the hell out of people. And in reviewing and researching for this top 5, I saw some clips of Mike Tyson on YouTube. And you remember on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You remember on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? His trademark combination of punches was right hook, right uppercut. Go back on YouTube. Go back on YouTube and just put in your search, Mike Tyson uppercut. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. It was almost criminal what Tyson was doing to folks back in the day with that uppercut, man. He would literally crumble you by hitting you in your kidney or right in your solar plexus, whatever the hell a solar plex is. That's a wrestling term. If you listen to wrestling, if you watch wrestling, they always used to throw out that term. Oh, no, he hit him in the solar plexus. I guess your solar plexus is your ribs. I don't know what it was. But he used to crush you in your solar plexus with a right hook. And then he used to just follow it immediately. I guess he knew the psychology of the scenario, the punch combination, that if he hit you in them ribs, that your left arm was going to drop and right there, uppercut, wham. And usually you was climbing Jacob's ladder. Yes. So I tried to find a way to put Tyson on the list. He's one of my honorable mentions. I don't know if there's ever been a more athletic guy in boxing. Probably, because boxers are usually in just tremendous great shape. So they usually rip the shreds, and they run miles, and they do a gazillion sit-ups and push-ups or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to think about that. But Mike Tyson's a guy, man. Not only did he punch hard and he knock fools out, but his footwork and his head bobbing. I mean, Tyson, if you look at Mike Tyson's head bobbing as well, I mean, he was just very, very technical. And great to be a guy that was 5'10" or 11 or whatever at 220 pounds. He was just a phenomenal athlete as well. So that's another guy that didn't make my list, but he is one of my honorable mentions. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining you, folk. This segment is brought to you by Join 7. Join 7 is a protection group, and they protect against life's little mishaps. So get more information about them. Go to my website, thedugstewartshow.com, and click on their banner link and join 7. But yeah, Herschel was that dude. My gosh. And I think Herschel right now still has this little regimen where he lifts, this article says he performs 3,500 sit-ups. Do you think you could do 3,500 sit-ups in a week? Seriously, 3,500 sit-ups and 1,000 push-ups every morning. I'm going to call Herschel out and call BS on that. Herschel Walker, I'm going to call BS. I'm going to call BS. This man can't do 3,500 sit-ups in one morning and 1,000 push-ups. I'm going to call BS on that. I'm sorry. I love him to death. I believe a lot of what he's saying. Maybe he meant 350 sit-ups and not 3,500. Yes. But 1,000 push-ups and 3,500 sit-ups, that's far-fetched to me. Now, if he did, I understand why he's as great of an athlete that he is, but I just doubt that very seriously. Let's just be honest about it. I mean, that's a lot of damn sit-ups. That's a lot of sit-ups. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles get a huge win, 45-21 over the Carolina Panthers. They go to 7-2 on the year. Mark Sanchez looked like he's reborn. He's like the freaking Phoenix. Played great last night, threw for over 300 yards and no picks, 2 touchdown passes. And on the flip side, Cam Newton is struggling. He is struggling. He really, really, really needs to get his attitude straight, man. And I'm not going to get into the long tirade I did in the first hour, but he needs to get his attitude straight. The quarterback, a prerequisite to being a good quarterback, not just in the NFL but at any level, is you got to be a leader. And leaders don't pout. Okay, leaders don't pout. It's as simple as that. When the going gets tough, that's when a leader steps up and says, you know what, guys, don't worry about it. We're going to turn this thing around. You start slapping guys in the butt, patting guys side the head. Let's go, guys. Let's get it together. Let's get this thing right. Let's go. We good. We're still in this thing. That's a leader. And Cam's body language, his facial expressions over the last couple of weeks, not just last night, they don't say that. They clearly don't say, I'm the leader and I'm going to lead you guys. Follow behind me. Everything's going to be okay. His body language does not say that. So the Carolina Panthers, right now they're 3-6 on the year, which is crazy to me because this NFC South, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, this NFC South is just literally up for grabs. The Atlanta Falcons, as bad as they've been, is one game out of first place. If the Saints lose next week and the Falcons win, the Falcons are in first place. Yes. So I really think what we're going to see this year is going to be something monumental, where whoever comes out of this NFC South, based on the way they're playing right now, is going to go to the playoffs with like a 7-9 record. 7-9, 8-8. That's where, the record's going to be for the South. Right now, the Saints lead the division with a 4-5 record. We've already played 9 games, all right? We played 9 games, so there's only 7 games left. So, yeah, I really think we're going to see something horrendous and monumental this year as far as the team that gets into the playoffs from this division. 404-382-0338. That's the number to the show. 404-382-0338. That is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. Continue to pass the word. Tell people we're doing big things around here. Yes. Tomorrow I'm going to have some news for you. We may be doing a live remote this weekend. Yes. So we're finalizing the deal on that. Hopefully we'll get it done this week. If not, we'll probably do it maybe another week down the road. But I think we may even get it done this week, so I'll give you more details on that tomorrow. Continue to tell people. Let all of the dogs and the poodles know. Where's LSU Harris? Where's St. Louis Ron? Where's, I don't know, Mike from Lost Mountain? Where's Spa Doja? Always trying to give somebody a hard-ass massage. Where are my dogs at, man? Holla at your boy, man. Tell everybody you know. Because a lot of people don't know about the show. It's doing fantastic. We're well over 30-something thousand listens, and it's doing great. But, man, a lot of people just don't know. I'm going to do some new marketing this week. I talked about that last week. So we're going to do our best to get the word out there, but damn it, help your boy out and pass the word and tell people about the livest, the most interactive, the most fun sports talk show in America. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we'll talk a little bit of NFL. Carson Palmer's in the news, as well as the San Francisco 49ers. They trying to get right. I'll tell you more about that up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Got an injured player? No problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000. And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code Spreaker to play for free. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that's DraftKings.com.
What is 9/11 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 9/11 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on the link on my website and let 9/11 Tax Relief help you in your situation with your uncle, better yet known as Uncle Sam. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com, and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes!
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. And this is a Top 5 Tuesday. Thank you for joining your folk. Make sure you pass the word on the show. This segment is brought to you by AmeriCommerce. All you need to get your online store off the ground. That's right. So go to my website, thedugstewartshow.com, and click on their banner link and get moving, man. And get some of this money. Yeah, get some of this internet money. Yes. All right. The number is 404-382-0338. Once again, it's 404-382-0338. And we're talking about the top 5 freak athletes of all times. Started talking about this because Randy Moss has got his own 30 for 30 tonight on ESPN. So it started me thinking about freak athletes of all times. I've already revealed a couple of the guys off my list, off my top 5 on this Top 5 Tuesday. Randy Moss at number 5. LeBron James at number 4. Herschel Walker at number 3. And I'll give you number 2 here in a second. But you can pretty much guess who number 2 and number 1 is going to be. So we'll get into that in a second. We talked about last night in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers go down. They go down, boy, to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, just get destroyed. I mean, it is real ugly. I mean, very, very ugly in this game. And I tell you what, Philadelphia is going to be a team that's going to make some noise this year in the playoffs. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that division as well, because right now Philadelphia leads that NFC East at 7-2, and Dallas is right behind them on their heels at 7-3. So you're going to have tiebreakers and everything coming to play in that division as well. Maybe you'll get a wild card out of there. You'll probably get a wild card out of that division as well. If you look at the other teams in the NFC as it stands right now, you probably get whoever comes in second place in that division as it stands right now will probably get one of those wild card spots. So we'll see. But a good win by the Philadelphia Eagles. Chip Kelly is doing great, man. Has done great ever since he's been in the NFL in his second year. Shouts out to Darren Sproles as well. You know, I always show love to the little guys. Always. Darren Sproles get you 2 touchdowns last night. Love that guy. That guy runs like a Weeble Wobble, and he don't fall down. You remember the Weeble Wobbles? Yes. I love Darren Sproles, man. Love that guy's game, and I know they are missing him in New Orleans. I mean, what that guy does, you really can't replace. There's not a lot of guys that can replace Darren Sproles, and he probably doesn't get enough, attention and credit because he's 5'0", and that's the life of a little guy in sports. I know, I've been there, done that. So I always show love and respect to guys like Darren Sproles. Imagine if Darren Sproles was 6'3", 220 pounds, and did the things that he does right now. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, he'd probably be twice as rich as he is right now. He'd get twice the notoriety that he receives right now as well. But it's always a bias against the little guy. The Darren Sproles, the George Jeffersons of the world, and the Doug Stewarts of the world. The little guy always got to do it double hard. They got to do it twice as hard. Well, I guess what you're saying is if they stack up, that's what they get. You put a little guy on top of him. I don't know. I don't like that, though. I don't like that. So shouts out to Darren Sproles. Been doing it at a high level ever since he's been in the NFL, and showed what he could do again last night in a big way. So shouts out to him and the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, Carson Palmer is done for the season. That's right, torn ACL, and hate to hear that for anybody, not just a quarterback, anybody in sports that plays at a high level and has aspirations of playing at a high level. Hate to hear something like that. So prayers go out to Carson Palmer. He's not going to have the surgery for another couple of weeks. They're going to let the swelling go down, and then they're going to perform the surgery. He's saying he's going to come back. Just signed a couple of days earlier a $50 million deal, $20 million guaranteed. Second time this has happened to him. He's going to get paid, so it's okay. He's going to get his money, so it works out for him monetarily. But cats want to play. Dudes want to play. I know I want to play. If you could tell me I'd get my contract, I'd get $50 million guarantee, or, a little bit less, and I'd be able to play and not have to worry about injury, and I'd be healthy, most guys would probably take a little bit less. I don't know, man, because guys just want to play. Nobody likes to be on the bench. Nobody likes to watch from the sideline. And so I totally get that. Also, for the San Francisco 49ers, if you haven't heard, 2 members of the team will be back this week. Ray McDonald is going to he's been playing already, but the prosecutors announced that they would not file domestic violence charges against him because of lack of evidence. You remember he got into this skirmish with his, I believe it's his girlfriend, and they both called the police. And so he told them from the very beginning that she assaulted him. And the 49ers believed him for the most part because they continued to let him play and said they were going to let it play out. And so basically the authorities said that there's nothing they can do. They don't have any information. She doesn't want to testify now. You know how that old story goes. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So she's playing dumb right now as well. So they're just going to let it go. And also, Aldon Smith, man, who's been suspended this entire year, is coming back. That's right. His suspension that he had for, I believe he had like weapons charges, something to that degree, DUI and weapons charges. So Aldon Smith, the defensive end, is coming back now. And this is one of the reasons, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is one of the reasons on why I chose the San Francisco 49ers to make it to that next mountaintop, that next level. They've been consistently in the playoffs, made it to a Super Bowl over the last couple of years under Jim Harbaugh. I just thought that I knew they would struggle in the beginning of the year, but they'd be in a position. They got a great win this past weekend on the road against New Orleans. They'd be in a position when they got guys healthy, guys came back from suspension, to put it all together and get hot at the right time. So maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what you'll see coming up in the next couple of weeks by the San Francisco 49ers. So we will see. All right, the number is 404-382-0338. That's the number to the show. We're talking about top five freaks in sports. My number 5 guy was Randy Moss. Number 4, LeBron James. Number 3, the great Herschel Walker. Says this man does 3,500 sit-ups in the morning. I don't know about that, but that's what they're telling me. That seems like a lot of damn sit-ups to me. Also does 1,000 push-ups. And my gosh, just legendary what he did for the University of Georgia at the onset of his career, man. Just unbelievable. You talk about a guy that had an instant impact. It might not be a better example than the great Herschel Walker. And me growing up. So in 1980, when Herschel won his Heisman, I was 11 years old, and in South Carolina where I grew up, ESPN wasn't prominent. I don't even know if ESPN was around at that time. ESPN wasn't prominent. You didn't hear a lot of conversation about other teams outside of the state back then in yesteryear. But even I knew about the great Herschel Walker. Yes, even I knew about. I remember when Herschel played against George Rogers, and that was like the biggest thing ever. And this mythical guy, Herschel Walker, running back for the Georgia Bulldogs, he's like a freaking alien. He's just unreal. And George Rogers won the Heisman Trophy in 81. No, in 80. I think Herschel won it in 81. The Clemson Tigers won the national championship in 81. So they all kind of mesh around the same times. And once again, my memory and dates is not that great. But yeah, I'm pretty sure in 80, George Rogers won the Heisman. And in 81, I believe George Rogers won the Heisman and Clemson won the national championship in 81. But all that was going on during that time, and even I was cognizant of the great Herschel Walker and his legend. Yeah, dude was legend. You go back and look at that film of Herschel, his rookie season, man, his freshman year at Georgia. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's like 18 years old, running over 22, 23-year-old men. Like it was men amongst boys. Yes. So Herschel comes in at the number 3 spot for me on my top 5 athletes of all times. Let me read a couple of these emails from Jungle Brother. He says, in the doghouse, yes. All right, thank you, Jungle Brother. I guess he's just joining us from Savalas. Doug, he's been doing them, seen he was like 10, or since he was like 10. I guess he's talking about Herschel Walker. Look at that dude. I think he can be a productive back right now at about 50. Yeah, I agree. I think Herschel Walker right now, based on the guy I saw doing MMA a couple of years back when he got into that, I think that Herschel Walker could come in right now and give you 12 to 15 carries. Yes. Now, he'd be sore as hell the next day because that's just how it works when you get old. He'd be sore as hell. But, yeah, I think Herschel could come in right now, and it would be productive. It wouldn't be like no charity carries. Herschel will get you a couple first downs right now at the age of 50. From Doug, from KC, says, Doug, that cat Vince Carter dunked on the Olympics was a 7'2 Frenchman. The Frenchman media dubbed the slam Le Dunk de la Mort, the dunk of death. Wow, I talked about that earlier. Vince Carter, one of my honorable mentions, he dunked on this guy in the Olympics. I thought the guy was like 6'2", 6'3". They're telling me this dude was a center, a 7-foot something. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Maybe the greatest dunk we've ever seen. And also, Vince Carter had several great dunks and dunk contests. Remember the dunk where he threw his whole arm in the rim up to his elbow? Crazy hops for Vince Carter. Yes. All right, this is the Doug Stewart Show, and we're talking about our top 5 freak athletes of all times on this Top 5 Tuesday, as well as a lot of other things we're talking about in the world of sports and the NFL. When we get back, I'll tell you a little bit about Adrian Peterson to get you up to date on that. Also, some news and notes from the world of the NBA. Shouts out to the Hawks. They get a big win last night against the New York Knicks, doing their damn thing. We'll talk about that. And also, shouts out to my man, Icewood44. You know who Icewood44 is? He's the winner of last week's Fantasy Challenge on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! He had 124.76 points. We did $5 a person. He came in number 1. And I'm not going to tell you the order I came in, but it wasn't first. How about that? I didn't come in first, and I didn't come in 10th. So, so go online and set you an account on DraftKings.com, and we'll give you more information about our fantasy challenge this week on the Doug Stewart Show. All right? Don't go anywhere. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com, and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes! I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, I know you better not be talking long distance on that phone, running up my bill with that old hussy. Well, get with the times with your long-distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60-plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedugstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your people like you not at your mama house. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much, much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their link on thedugstewartshow.com or the app link for details.
If you're not stewing, what in the hell are you doing? Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Top 5 Tuesday. And this segment is brought to you by DraftKings. That's right. DraftKings, they are making millionaires, man. That's right. All season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. You got an injured player, no problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week. So you're never stuck with the same players. So create you an account. Go to my website, thedugstewartshow.com. Click on their banner link and get ready and be prepared to find out details on this week's fantasy challenge on the Doug Stewart Show. All right? The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yeah, so last night the Atlanta Hawks get a huge win, beating the New York Knicks, and yes, twice. They beaten them back-to-back, one home and one away. So shouts out to the Knicks. Shouts out to this Dennis Schroeder kid, man. I think it's going to be a player for the Hawks for a long time. Got to figure out a way to get him more minutes. Also got to figure out a way to get Scott more minutes. Hawks playing decent basketball. I'm looking forward to going down to Phillips Arena next week. You know why? You know why I'm looking forward to going down to Phillips Arena next week? Because the Los Angeles Lakers come to town. Yes, now, okay. This is much different than most other years when I go down to support the Los Angeles Lakers, the team that I followed from my youth. Because this year, the Lakers pretty much suck. Okay, I get that. But guess what? I am a fan. And you Cleveland Cavalier, Miami Heat bandwagon jumpers, you can take a page out of my book. I'm a ride or die with my team, shorty. Yes. I'm a ride or die with them. So hopefully I'll go down there and we'll probably lose. And actually it's kind of a win-win for me because I support the Hawks too. I mean, hell, I love ATL. Talked about that yesterday. And right now, this is a year where we aren't going to do a lot. So yes, I'm not going to be mad if the Hawks get a win, but I'll go down there, watch the Hawks probably get a win, watch Kobe Bryant maybe put up 30, 40 points, and I'm happy. I mean, what more could a fan ask for, you know? I'm good. So you'll see me down there at Phillips Arena. You will see me down there. My annual pilgrimage to Phillips Arena to watch the Hawks come. The Hawks take on the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the game is next Tuesday. So I'll let your boy, man. I'll let your boy. Laker fans, meet me down there. Don't meet me down there. Beat me down there. And I know it's kind of it's not really a good thing to root for a team outside of Atlanta, but it is what it is. I'm not from Atlanta. This is my second hometown, my adopted hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. I love it to death. I talked about that yesterday. Freaknik and Magic City. I get all of that. But I mean, golly, you can't ask a guy to just forsake his teams because he moves into a city. I mean, I'm keeping it real. And so I've always been a Laker fan and take a lot of criticism because of that. But that's what fans do. Fans stick by their teams, thick and thin, not just because of geography. You know, that's my team. And so I'm going to go down there Tuesday, and I'm going to root for the Lakers, and I'm going to root for the Hawks. If that makes sense. 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338 from James. He says, Herschel's worth $300 million and growing. He can teach entrepreneur classes. This brother is for real. Glad to have you back, doggy. Keep doing the damn thing. Thanks for that, James. I really appreciate that. From King Kane, Doug lost so bad in his fantasy football league that he had to, whatever. Shut up, man. Shut up. Whatever. Yeah. I know what you meant, but damn it, it's not going to happen like that this weekend. From who do we got here? From Kevin, he says 10-4. What is he talking about? Who's 10-4? I don't know. Oh, 10-4. 10-4. He's saying 10-4 like I got you. I get it. That's old trucker talk. That's old trucker talk for the youngins, the greenhorns listening to the show. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I don't hear people talking and talk about, truckers and CBs and trucker lingo, 10-4, good buddy, and all of that stuff. That used to be real big. You were like, that was like real cool back in the 70s. if you had a CB. Like, did the young people even know the term CB? Like, trucks, Mack trucks, and Peterbilts, and all of those big rigs. That was cool when we were growing up. Like, I don't see children and these kids walking around with saggy-ass jeans on. I don't see them having the same affinity for truckers and the respect and the utmost respect for truckers across this country. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it does make sense. My man Fred Mack says youngster CB equals Nextel chirp. Yeah, I guess so. Or even, you know what? I guess they're not infatuated by CBs. And you remember what else was big when we were kids? Walkie-talkies. But guess what? Kids are getting cell phones right now that do 1,000 times more than what any CB or walkie-talkie did back in 1975. You know? So I get it. It's progress. It's technology. And so kids now have cell phones. But yeah, if you grew up in the 70s, the coolest thing ever was to hear a trucker, you know, on the CB radio talk. CB radio talk is like another language for those guys, those trucker dudes. And then if you were fortunate enough on a great Christmas morning, you'd walk in the living room, and under the tree would be a pair of walkie-talkies? What? Come on, man. Do you feel me on that? Do you feel me on that? If you're of a certain age, you definitely feel me on the fact that walkie-talkies were big and truckers were big. You know, truckers got a lot of respect from kids back when I was growing up. I don't know why. But we really respected truckers pulling down that little string. And we also respected their CB talk. And 10-4, good buddy, and this, that, and the other. But times have changed, and these kids got these iPhone 6s that'll do 1,000 times more stuff than any CB would back in 1970. From John Marshall, who says, my grandfather drove 18-wheelers for over 50 years. He had a CB in every car, and we also ate at truck stops when we went on vacation. That's right. That was the culture. That was the culture. I'll go into one of those truck stops right now, and there's a truck stop. You know what I'm talking about, right there on Bankhead Highway. And what are they calling it now? They're calling it some other civil rights leader's name. I can't remember the name right now. But that truck stop right there on Bankhead and 285, okay, right there on the left when you get off, you know, on the left is the truck stop, and on the right is the Blue Flame. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. But right there on the left, that truck stop, I'll go in there, man, and just browse around and just look. And they got a lot of cool stuff in there nowadays. And truck stops and truckers, they were just cool growing up. You know, it was a couple of guys that were just automatically cool. All right? So Arthur Fonzarelli was cool. The Nature Boy Ric Flair was cool. And truckers were cool back when I was growing up. Not so much these days. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338, 404-382-0338. Maybe we'll do that another day and do a Dougie Daily. What was cool back when you were growing up, and nowadays it's not so much cool, or you can't figure out why it was so cool back in the day. But yes, truckers were big time cool back in the day, and they don't get the respect they deserve these days. They don't. Like, I don't hear kids talking about truckers, and, you know, when you're riding along on a family vacation, headed to Myrtle Beach or south of the border or New York City or wherever, you know, you're in the back seat and your dad's driving, and you look over and you see, you know, it's just trucker coming by, and you jump to the one side of the car, you and your brother or your sister or your little brother or whatever, and you do the universal symbol for honk your horn, you pull your hands down, your elbow down, and the trucker does it. Oh, my gosh. That's just great stuff. That's just great stuff. There's Hollowell Parkway. Thank you, King 50. Hollowell. And I think they want you not to say Bankhead anymore. I think the city doesn't want you to use the term Bankhead, but it's always going to be Bankhead Highway to me. Yes, sir. Bouncing and everything. It's going to always be Bankhead Highway to me. No disrespect to the great Hollowell, who I believe is a civil rights attorney. I believe that's the way the story goes, or some type of person dealing with the civil rights. And that's honorable and everything. But unless you grew up in an era where it was always called Hollowell Parkway, it's going to be Bankhead. We're going to be bouncing. It's going to be called Bankhead. Yes. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. Having some fun talking about these sports. Also talking about the top athletes, top 5 freak athletes of all times. You know what my number 4 is? My number 4, or actually my number 2 athlete, number 5 was Randy Moss. Number 4 was LeBron James. Number 3, Herschel Walker. Number 2 is no other than Prime Time. Oh my gosh. Deion Sanders, man. I mean, there'll probably never be another one like him because Deion played in the era and in the time where you could actually bump and run, really. You could put, your hands on a receiver. You could be physical. But I don't think I've ever remembered anybody talking about one particular player changing the way an offense has to play said team. Okay? I mean, can you ever remember a guy where he held down an entire half of a field? Like, your quarterback was scared to throw the ball on this side of the field because this dude's twitch muscles, his fast twitch muscles, were alien-like. And I've used that term a couple times today. Deion's fast twitch muscles and the way he would recover and break on a ball were almost like unreal. Guy played football, played basketball, baseball. They said he was a good basketball player as well. Ran a 4.140 something at the combine, allegedly in his church shoes. Yeah. Silky smooth curl. Yeah, Deion Sanders, man. My number 2 freak athlete of all times. And words don't do him justice. They just don't do him justice, man. Prime time. And people, they talk about Deion not wanting to hit and not wanting to be physical as a football player. But whatever, man. Just like Randy Moss and just like Shaq. If you can dunk every single time, why do I care about Shaq shooting jump shots? If you can run a fly route on triple coverage every time and nobody can stop you, I don't give a damn if you run a slant pattern like Randy Moss. And same thing with Deion Sanders. Damn it, I really don't care if you tackle anybody. Yeah, because you're a weapon in yourself. And that's not even true. That's not even true about Deion not being able to tackle. That's not true. That's over-dramatized. That is. The guy could tackle. Maybe he wouldn't have done Rod Woodson or something like that, or Aeneas Williams, but the guy tackled. He would come up and hit you. But Deion Sanders, man, my number 2 all-time freak athlete of all times. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, I'll reveal my number 1. Not really a big mystery about that, but we'll talk about it, and we'll wrap today's show up. I'll read more of your chat. More fun. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Business owners, Advertise Unlimited is one of the few national flyer and door hanger distribution companies that service every market in the U.S., promoting your grand opening or special event, as well as creating brand recognition amongst the public. Here's what they do. They deliver your printed ad or promotion to the front door of your targeted customer. The beauty is they outperform direct mail advertising, and your ad doesn't get lost in the mailbox. Now, isn't that what really matters? Boom! The most professional, reliable distribution teams in the business, and they also provide real-time proof of performance for all campaigns. An A rating with the Better Business Bureau, and were voted one of the fastest-growing companies in the U.S. by Inc. magazine. Advertise Unlimited has the capability to print and distribute up to 20,000 flyers or more for less than the price of a stamp. Use the promo code DSS and get an extra 10% discount on your initial campaign. So, give them a call at 1-866-369-9003. Again, that's 1-866-369-9003, or check out their website at goadvertiseunlimited.com and make your advertising dollars count. Yes!
You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much, much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their link on thedougsstewartshow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your boat. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Yes!
Sucker Sports Talk hosts can't hide. Now back to the Doug Stewart Show.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Top 5 Tuesday. Happy Veterans Day to all our veterans out there once again. Today's Top 5 Tuesday topic, Top 5 freak athletes of all times. And let me just say this. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This segment is brought to you by Advertise Unlimited. GoAdvertiseUnlimited.com. GoAdvertisersUnlimited.com. What they do is they put the door hanger things on your doors, and it's door-to-door marketing. Fantastic. So check them out at GoAdvertiseUnlimited.com, and their number is 866-369-9003. If you're a company out there, check them out. Check them out. They can hit over 20,000 houses. All right, so that's 866-369-9003. Let me say this about this list. I said it the best way I could a little bit earlier, that this thing is really speculative, okay? It's really what you put into the formula as far as top 5 freak athletes of all times. And there's a lot of guys on this list, and before I give you my number one, let me tell you some of the other guys' names that I wrote down. I talked about Mike Tyson, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I talked about Mike Tyson. You remember Dave Winfield? You remember Dave Winfield played for the Yankees? Dave Winfield was like an all-world football player in college. I believe he went to Minnesota. He also got drafted in the NBA. And you know he was a Hall of Fame baseball player, so I had Dave Winfield. And also another thing about Dave Winfield, my mother swears up and down my grandfather, her father, looked just like Dave Winfield. As there's a picture. I never met my grandfather on my mother's side. And so there's one picture that she has of him. And yeah, he does look kind of like Dave Winfield. I also had Calvin Johnson on my honorable mention. Like I really toyed or toiled with the fact of who I was going to put at number 5. And I had Calvin Johnson. I had a couple other guys. I had Usain Bolt. How about Usain Bolt? Usain Bolt didn't make my top 5. And this is a guy that's 6'4", something like that, that's run faster than any other recorded human in the history of the world at his size. It just doesn't match up, which that's the topic for another day on the show. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I really think it's very suspect what those guys do in Jamaica on that track. But we'll talk about that another day. I also had Mike Vick. Yeah. And my man, That Ninja, says on the chat line, he says, sounds like you are leaving MB7 or Bo Jackson off your list. Sir, either way, you're wrong for that. I literally was tormented at number 5 trying to put in either Mike Vick, Calvin Johnson, or would I put Randy Moss? And ultimately, I said to myself, damn it, this top 5 list has all come about because of Randy Moss. I'm going to put Randy Moss at number 5. But I couldn't put either of those 3 guys ahead of LeBron because of just the physical force that LeBron is. And once again, I mean, he gets up and down on the break just as fast as, any of the fastest point guards you've ever seen in your life. So LeBron was a question mark, kind of, sort of, but I had LeBron at 4, And I put Randy Moss at 5. I had Herschel at 3. At number 2, I had Deion Sanders. And at number 1, obviously, I just mentioned his name just now, is the great Bo Jackson. My gosh. It almost seems like a crime to be that big and that fast. Seriously. It almost seems like a crime to be that big and that fast and that strong. He's from Alabama, so he's cornbread bred and collard greens fed and just strong as an ox. And the guy ran a 4.175 at the combine. What? Huh? The man ran 4.1 in the 40. That's unbelievable. Okay? And you remember the Monday night game against the Seahawks when he hit the sideline and dudes had angles on him just like the Randy Moss conversation I had earlier. He hit the sideline and it was gone. He was gone. He was running so fast he couldn't even stop himself. He couldn't even do a Fred Flintstone and put his feet down and put some brakes on. He ran in the damn tunnel. He was going too fast. And just the conversation leading up to that game against Brian Bosworth, another guy who just had his own 30 for 30, and he met Brian Bosworth in the hole, and he just crushed him, ran him over. The man broke a baseball bat, a Louisville Slugger, over his leg like it was a toothpick. I mean, golly. Bo knows. I mean, his own campaign with Nike. Just a freak. Just a freak, man. Just a freak, and only touched the surface of what he could have done athletically in baseball and in football. Guy was an all-star in baseball. Okay? An all-star in baseball. So, I mean, just a freak of nature, man. And once again, it was hard putting this list together. A couple more names I had on my list. I had Vernon Davis. You know, Vernon Davis at 260 pounds, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. He ran like something ridiculous, 4.2 something at the combine. Just an athletic freak, had like a 42-inch vertical leap. I mentioned Wilt Chamberlain a little bit earlier. So there's a lot of guys, man, and you could debate this for days on end. And this is one of those old school, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, this is one of those old school barbershop conversations and debates. And arguments, really. That's what dudes really do in the barbershop. It's not a debate, really. In a barbershop, it's an argument. You know, in the basketball court, it's an argument. And so this is one of those arguments you could have all day long about the most athletic, the most freak athletes of all times. But that's my list. Number 5 is the great Randy Moss. Number 4 is LeBron James. Number 3 is Herschel Walker. Number 2 is Deion Sanders. And number 1 is the great Bo Jackson. Bo knows everything. Bo knows wrestling, football, bobsledding, canoeing, archery, horse riding. Bo knows it all. He does. And once again, sad that young people don't get the full depth of how great of an athlete this guy was because of the injury. And that's a nasty injury Bo suffered. His hip came out of socket. They had to put it back in place. I saw the 30 for 30 when he was talking about that. And I hurt my hip last year. I actually missed. If you don't know it, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I run Masters track. And so last year before the season started, right before the season started, I kind of jammed my hip. I took a misstep running on the treadmill. I had the damn thing up like all the way to the max. And so I'm running these like what I call sprints on the treadmill. And I kind of took a misstep and jammed my hip. And it felt like, you know, partially maybe my hip came out of place. It was kind of a freak accident. But imagine that with Bo Jackson. And they had to put his actually back in place. And that's what ended his career. They said that he had come close to severing an artery in that hip, that it would have killed him. Yes. And so his career was pretty much over. I think he came back to play baseball for a short period of time. But, you know, kind of like this situation now with the kid, the running back for South Carolina, who's going to have to retire. Just wasn't the same athlete again. And career was pretty much over. But Bo, man, Bo was crazy. Man. Oh, it was just crazy. And I also saw you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I also saw a couple weeks ago the football life of Marcus Allen. and they talked about how your boy Al Davis, you had this Hall of Fame player in Marcus Allen, and whatever the beef was with him and Al Davis, Marcus Allen and Al Davis, he tried to give Bo the job. And Bo probably was the better player, obviously one of the best athletes. I think the best athlete that I've ever seen in my life. But you just can't take away Marcus Allen's job. But Bo Jackson was that dude, so I kind of get it. They tried to play him in the backfield all together at one time at some points, like a split backfield, which you really don't see a lot of that these days. And, it just didn't work. But it was a real bad situation, though, out there in L.A. with the Raiders. But, yeah, Bo Jackson is my number one freak athlete of all times. Wow. That's saying a lot. If I put him 4 spots ahead of Randy Moss, that'd tell you the type of athlete Bo Jackson was, man. He's just crazy, just a freak of nature, a real freak. Yes. All right, thank you for everybody for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you to all of my staff that helped put this thing together. The Tree of Life, thank you, Tree, for all that you do. Thank you very much. Shouts out to my man, Waterhead Walter. Walter, thank you. Yes, your Waterhead. My man, CJ the DJ. Yes, CJ, thank you so much for joining me and helping me out on this show, man, and making this thing possible. Shouts out to Dwayne Bassan as well as Gerald Oliveri. Thank you guys for all that y'all do, man. I really do appreciate it. And to all of the dogs out there and the poodles and all of the listeners, man, for supporting the Doug Stewart Show and passing the word. We're doing big things, man. We got another meeting today. Yes, these slots are filling up. If you'd like to partner with the Doug Stewart Show, we'd like to partner with you, man. Definitely email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com and let's do some business. Are you not entertained? Come on, man. Who give you real and trill top 5s like I did today? Wow. I mean, I racked my brain on that. Randy Moss, LeBron, Herschel, Dion, and Bo Jackson. All right. Tomorrow, same Doug time, same Doug channel. Peace.